Hey.
Hi, we're live. I'm Kaylee, and I'm here with my friend April from 13 Nerdy
Hi.
Mom, aka the Loki Whisperer genius, knows everything about Thor, Loki, also Captain America, but we're not here to talk about him today. So we're here talking about the second episode of Loki, second of 6, which is crazy to think that there's only
Almost
6
halfway there. Yeah.
Yeah, but what did you think of this episode versus the first episode? Did you like this one more, about the same? What'd you think?
I like the first one just a little bit more because he was more of like the saucy Loki. In this episode, he was more of Ragnarok Loki, which I call the Hufflepuff Loki. Um And so he's just very like Hufflepuff and sweet and just
Yeah,
wanting to like get appraisal and appraisal.
Basil. I
It
mean,
just didn't sound right.
yeah.
But yeah, he's just trying to get praise from Mobius, and it's cute, but I do like the mischievous Loki a little bit better.
Yeah. Wait, so are you saying you felt like this episode was more of the Hufflepuff Loki or last episode?
Yes.
Okay.
This episode was Hufflepuff. Last one was a little bit saucier of a Loki.
I don't know. I felt like this episode I almost saw a little bit more of that Loki, which I'm trying to put in tags for. It's fine. I'm a pro YouTuber. This is just how I do my life. But no, I actually did. I felt like he was a bit more like saucy this episode because I felt like him and Mobius were legit like kind of trying to like trip each other up in a sense. Like I feel like he was like trying to manipulate each other, I guess is like what
there was that moment too.
Yeah, like I felt like, well, like in the tent, I felt like he was like kind of leading them on, and Mobius like caught it, and then they have like, there's just several moments throughout this where like, they're trying to like subtly like manipulate one another, and I think it's so good, and I love it because I saw a little bit more of that like and I felt like last episode for me was almost more like, well, we saw a little bit of a rougher Loki last episode, but I think we had more Hufflepuff moments in a sense because we had those like really touching, like we're not going to even talk about the scenes that I love so much. I've literally rewatched just like those entire, like the second half of that episode probably 10 times because I just was obsessed with him in those emotional scenes. But personally, I liked episode 1 a little bit better, like you said. I think for me, the reason I liked it better was for the emotional stuff in episode 1.
I agree. And I don't know. I really like episode 2, like in certain spots, but like you said, there's certain spots where like you see a little bit of saucy Loki and a little bit mischievous, and then like I think towards the end on both of those episodes, you do get Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
Loki.
Well, I feel like at the end when he left on episode 2, when he left through the portal, I knew he was going to do it. We all knew he was going to do it. There's no way he wasn't going to do it. But at the same time, I feel like I don't know. I got the vibe that he likes Mobius, I think, decently.
I think so too.
I don't think he wanted to like backstab Mobius, as he said. He's not about that anymore. But I don't really think he wanted to necessarily backstab Mobius. I think he just, I don't know. I think he just couldn't, like, you knew he wasn't going to pass up the opportunity to get away. Yeah. And then potentially, I think, as he said this episode, he wants to try to work with, this other Loki, to try to get what he wants, So
you just never really know which side he's on because he could have gone through the portal and he's looking for the other Loki and is trying to help Mobius in that way, or he's just doing it for himself, or he's even helping the other. Like, you never know what side he's on.
I think he's on his own side. I think he's thinking in his brain what's best for Loki. And that's pretty much where it ends. But I mean, obviously, I don't think he would want Mobius to get like injured or like anything bad to happen to him, or really anyone thus far, unless they like cross him or give him a reason, I feel like he's kind of like, but I did like this episode a lot. For one of my favorite scenes, I think, is when he's explaining how the variant is hiding and how it's hiding in the disasters. That was such a cool. I loved it. I love the scene of him explaining it.
Like the salt and pepper shake.
And literally just ruining his salad. Just ruining the salad with all.
And that's very Loki too.
I know. I thought that was a very beautiful scene. Very well done. And I mean, I was like, oh, he has a good point. And I thought that was really cool, which you had texted me before and said that this episode reminded you of me because of Alabama.
Yes.
And I was like, what is she talking about? But that's interesting that Alabama made a cameo in Loki.
Yes, I seen a meme that was like everyone watching Loki episode 2 that lives in Alabama. And it was like, it's ridiculous. I was like, yeah.
I know. I was like, Alabama? Because, you don't see a lot of Alabama it's just not something you see a lot, especially like.
And why would a Loki hide in Alabama?
I know. Of all places. And I mean, there's not, what is the town called? Haven Hills, I think or something like that.
I think so.
Haven something. I don't know. It's something similar to that. And there is not one of those in Alabama. That is not a beach town we have. But I do just have to mention, it's very coincidental. It was not a hurricane, but there was really bad tornadoes in Alabama today in some parts, and there was a really bad spot hit. So just wanted to mention that since, this has happened this week.
Stop it.
Unfortunately, that was something that did happen today. So thinking about those people, it's real scary. April thought I was going to be freaking out because of this show.
Really? And I know you don't like storms. I don't particularly like storms either. And I saw that and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. It didn't freak me out as much because it was on TV. But yeah, I mean, that's like a real life Kaylee nightmare situation.
Yeah. It's like 30 years from now.
Yes. Another one of my favorite scenes that I just wanted to kind of throw out there. Probably honestly, it was the best way to start the episode. The holding out for a hero, that entire scene was so good to me. What did you think, April? Did you disagree?
So Steve, for the last week or two, has been talking about that song just randomly. And he decided, I decided I wasn't going to watch it that morning. I was running late and stuff. And, he went ahead and turned it on. And I hear that song, and he's like, no, it isn't. Okay. But, yeah, so he was like, I put it out there, and then Loki made it become true. And it was really funny for us because he was just like, there's no way that's the song that's playing right now.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. I swear things like that are so funny. Like when you put it out in the universe and then it happens and you're like, what?
Yeah.
But I had two things I wanted to mention about that. I geeked out when I saw the little magic, going on, where he was going into, or she was going into the other girl's body. I was freaking out. I was getting WandaVision vibes and I was like, oh my God, this is WandaVision. But also, I might be thinking too much into this because I read so much into subtext, and I'm like, okay, so they're playing this song as Loki's fighting them, right? The other Loki, the variant Loki, and it's holding out for a hero. And I'm like, what if they're trying to make it seem like this variant Loki's a hero or something? You know what I mean? I always think into the songs, and I'm like, well, okay, is the song trying to give us subtext, or am I just overthinking? Probably overthinking it, but
there is a rumor that the TVA is, or not a rumor, but a theory that the TVA is a cover for Kanan the Conqueror. Kane Conqueror. And he's supposed to be he's rumored to be the new big bad, which I mean we also had Mephisto with WandaVision. Is that going to be it? And we keep guessing, but like
on him right now, he'd be so
yeah. But supposedly they're supposed to be covering up for a new big bad, so maybe this Loki is a hero. Who knows? Like, and Kevin Feige has came out and said that Loki is the most important series for Phase 4.
Phase 4. Okay. Well, your man, Steve, says Kang is married to the director lady of the TVA in the comics. So that's wait, so who's the director in this one? The friend of Mobius?
Yes.
Okay. She doesn't seem like overly sketchy to me though, but maybe she is. I just like their chemistry. They're like cute. They're like a cute little chemistry.
Very cute.
Yeah. But I mean, then again, I'd still be down for like there being this betrayal or something.
And Loki's the good guy.
I know. Well, you know what's interesting? I read a article before I came on tonight, and it was Tom Hiddleston, and he was talking about Loki because, okay, the reason why, and you might can shed some light on this, April. And I want to finish my thought, so I'll give it to you, and then I'll let you answer after because I know I'll forget my other thought if we interrupt. But I was trying to figure out if Tom Hiddleston was going to be in all of Loki because Allie thought she remembered it saying some point that he was only going to be in like 3 episodes or something like that. So I was trying to figure that out, which you can answer that in a second. But what I found is basically Tom Hiddleston was saying like the importance to him of playing Loki, but he mentioned this series about like basically saying, is anyone ever truly good? Is anyone ever truly bad? Like that kind of line, right? Like the good, like, is there ever really a true good guy or bad guy, whatever. So I think that is going to kind of be a part in this of like, who really is the good guy and who really is the bad guy? Like, and is there really ever like a truly like all the way through good, like that never does anything that's necessarily gray or bad or whatever. Hello, Christina.
Hi, Christina. First of all, the closest person that is completely good is Captain America.
I was going to say your man, your other man.
Because he is worthy. But I agree. I love that statement. Is anyone truly bad? Is anyone truly good? Because we all have that gray area. And I did also hear that Tom Hiddleston was not going to be in all the episodes, which makes sense because Loki is a shapeshifter and things like that. But the rumor was there was going to be an old Loki and a young Loki. And I was telling Steve has the theory that Mobius might be a Loki.
What?
Just because of certain mannerisms that he does. And then this last episode, he said, my own glorious purpose.
Yeah.
And, so he's kind of like, is it a Loki variant? And I was like, well, they said, a young Loki. And I think the young Loki was in the church on the first episode. And then maybe Mobius is the old Loki. And if it happens, that's going to be wild.
That's crazy. But I'm still very confused. Yes, Christina. That's me, Christina. What? I don't know. Which actually, Christina being on here. Oh, I did pause it. I've been watching Christina's videos.
I just finished her the Evil Queen update 3. So I've been watching them too.
Yeah, I've been trying to catch up because Christina somehow, at one point, I was most caught up on Christina's videos, and now I'm most behind on Christina's videos. So I'm like trying to catch up. I'm still very, very, very confused about there being other Lokis that don't look like Loki. I get very confuddled with that. I'm like, okay, is it just that they have like Loki-like powers? Is it that they're like, is it the spirit of, I don't understand, April. I'm very confused.
Jean Claire kind of was like, I just don't get the variant thing. And I said the best way to explain it is Into the Spider-Verse, which is not MCU movie. It is a Marvel movie. but it kind of explains like why there's like 5 different Spider-Mans and like just the mentions and stuff like that. And that's kind of what the TVA is dealing with, is like different dimensions, alternate universes type of thing. And I mean, yeah, that's the best way to describe it. I guess because I've seen that, I can just kind of know in my head, yes, there's different Lokis out there that just don't necessarily look like Loki.
It's just so odd to me. I just don't know. I mean, I get the alternate. It's just alternate universes, like people, like the same person in a sense, or same character, like the Spider-Man, like you were talking about, multiple Spider-Mans. Even that, I'm like, that's a lot for my brain to handle. It's a lot for me to wrap my mind around this multiverse of like all these like essentially alternate Kayleys doing alternate things and alternate timelines. Still, it's just strange. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Steve said, Hiddleston said that 3 and 4 are the craziest episodes and opens the MCU a lot. I already thought this episode was crazy. I thought it was crazy we were already seeing Lady Loki in episode 2. Like, I thought that was quick, but I guess with it only
6 episodes too. So, yeah. I mean, we're almost halfway through.
Which WandaVision was 8.
10. Was it 8?
Was it 10? It might have been 10. I don't know. It was, maybe Falcon.
I think Falcon and Winter Soldier was 8.
And then WandaVision was 10.
WandaVision was a little bit more because it was only 30 minutes.
Yeah. I don't know. This is just a lot in 6 episodes.
It's so much.
All I'll say too, I mean, I really would love for Tom Hiddleston to be in all of them.
Me too.
I literally am just happy and smiling seeing him on the screen. I don't care. Like, I could hate the whole show. Nothing that I want to happen could happen. It could be terrible. And I'd be like, it has Tom Hiddleston. I'll watch it.
I'm kind of like that now. There's several Tom Hiddleston movies. I'm like, that.
I know. You sent me some.
I know. Okay, that movie, like, I honestly had to skip around on that movie because that first scene, like, I was like, okay, I'm out.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, I am so bad at theories, and I will tell you the most embarrassingly terrible, like, crack theory I had during this episode. It was so bad. It's so embarrassing to, like, I was editing my reaction video. I'm like, oh, this is so embarrassing. But okay, when the beginning scene, when that girl got like possessed or whatever, and then our mysterious Loki ended up taking the girl, in my head I'm like, what if she's like his lover or whatever, and he's like taking her so that he could do, I don't know, I was like trying to think in my brain, he's trying to save her and maybe she dies in an alternate timeline, maybe, I don't know. So I had in my head this girl had something to do as a potential love interest. And I was like, I don't even know if I want Loki to have a love interest, but I did put a disclaimer in there. I was like, I'm usually wrong, like 99.9% of the time. And I feel like I'm wrong. And then I was. Oh. Yeah.
Okay. He tends to get fairly naked a lot.
Does he? Well, I still love the scene in episode 1 where he took his shirt and he was like, wait a minute. Oh, I love that.
You see his butt in Crimson Peak. I know we're going off subject a little bit, but I mean, I feel like this should be warranted. Allie should be here for this conversation.
I know.
See his butt in Crimson Peak. Night Manager, you see like quite a bit of abdomen. High Rise, I mean, you pretty much see everything. Listen.
You're blushing a little.
I look over and he's going. He knows. He knows. We can't even talk about Sebastian Stan, but.
Girl, no. I feel like what we need, and this is going a little off, but have you ever seen Sons of Anarchy?
No, I haven't. Okay.
Well, in Sons of Anarchy, the main guy, I swear he had to have it in his contract that he had to show his butt at least one time per. I swear it was in the contract because it happened that frequently. We just need to get Tom Hiddleston on a show like that. Or it's in the contract. Anyways, off topic, but we're gonna get back. We're gonna steer it
back to yeah.
Yes. Okay, so what was your probably like favorite moment you think of this episode?
Oh, that one's easy, and it's Emma's favorite moment too. Like, because I think we're watching it for the third time. She goes, "Mom, this is my favorite." It's when they're in I said it's mine too. It's when they're in Pompeii and he frees the goat and he's like, "Be free, my horned friends." I want to make a pair of ears for myself and put that like on the headband because it cracks me up so much. Just be free. He like just the way like Tom Hiddleston was like just fluently like going with the language, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, I loved the whole Pompeii scene. I thought that was great. I don't know let me try to think what my favorite. I guess my favorite has to be the whole salad scene where he's just salt and peppering the salad, and Mobius is like, my salad. Which I will say too, I really liked Mobius better this episode. I didn't dislike him last episode. I just feel like last episode he was like just pushing Loki, and pushing like the same thing, like, why do you do what you do? And this episode we got to see a little bit more of like his personality. And I think he was a lot more likable. He still didn't say wow, to my knowledge.
We're waiting for it. Maybe it'll be at the end. If we don't get it, I'm going to be so mad.
Me too. I feel like this episode had a few moments we could have gotten a wow. I feel like they could have put it in there. But, I don't know. And it has to be like his proper wow. Like it has to be the proper one. Oh, Christina has seen Sons of Anarchy. It was.
Speaking of Tom Hiddleston and me knowing Tom Hiddleston did a movie with Owen Wilson back in the day. And he did. So Tom Hiddleston does amazing impressions of people. He has an Owen Wilson one.
Oh.
And so I told Steve, I was like, I kind of secretly hope that it's not Owen Wilson that does it, but like it's Tom Hiddleston mocking him, and he's like, wow. I would die. I would die.
That would be even better. I will be disappointed if that does not happen, because that's even better than Owen Wilson saying it. And there's like montages of Owen Wilson saying it on like YouTube. And I want another montage to be made to include Tom Hiddleston saying it, at the end, because that's like, or just any actor that's ever intimidated Owen Wilson saying that. Okay. Oh, this was a Christina question. I'm sorry, Christina. I missed this question. She says, is Lady Loki her official name, or is she just Loki? Well, she didn't want to be called Loki at all, so I don't know what the deal with that is. But I think she'll have a name. I don't think she'll be called Lady Loki.
Supposedly she's someone else somewhere. Someone saw it in a subtitle. But I don't know. My theory was she didn't want to be called Loki because there's so many like men Lokis that she doesn't want to be lumped into the whole Loki thing. I don't know.
I'm still very confused. I'll just say it's still just very confused. I don't know. That's all I will say. I need to just get through. I mean, I never thought I would be more confused after WandaVision, because, I had no idea what I was getting myself into with WandaVision. Didn't even know, what had happened to Vision previously. I knew nothing. Very confused. And now I'm still like, I don't ever know if I'm going to understand this whole multiverse thing, and there being multiple of people, especially like a female version of Loki. But I thought an interesting scene was also one of my favorite scenes is when Loki's fighting the Lady Loki, and he says, "I would never do this to myself."
Yes, I did like that one too, because he's been having to think as Loki, and you kind of see a little bit of himself everywhere. So.
I know, he's like trying to think as Loki and trying to like kind of, and I think it obviously works for the most part, because he knows like how this Loki is thinking a good bit. But then like, he's like, I would never do this to myself. Which I thought was just a funny line about how Tom Hiddleston is. He would never hurt another Loki. He'd be like,
Go ahead, Loki.
He's the superior Loki, as
he is. I completely agree.
I completely agree too. I do. The only reason I would disagree is if there was like an even more ripped Loki that was like what we saw, I guess, in like, I don't know, just a little bit like the future Loki that like knew everything that he had gone through and like was a slightly better person, you know?
Yes. With their life's experiences and actually was mature about it.
Even though,
but that Loki's supposedly dead anyways, so.
Well, yeah. But like I said, like first episode, I still think that was like, I mean, the best decision that they made in this entire show thus far was showing Loki the future, because that's everything I needed and more. Like if the rest of the show, if I don't like anything else, that one half, like the whole part of him like seeing his mother die, him going to Casey and having that whole scene with Casey was perfect. And then coming back and watching the rest, if nothing else, that part right there will always be like the perfect cinematic experience to me, like just perfect. Christina says she doesn't think the timekeepers exist. I don't know.
I feel like that's a good possibility.
Yeah,
I really do.
Because Mobius says he hasn't even seen the timekeepers himself. So yeah, I feel like it's a good possibility that there are no timekeepers at all. But I don't know. I'm just wondering, which I have my shirt on today that is like Loki running for president.
I'm ready for that one.
I'm wondering when this is going to occur. That's what I'm wondering, because I'm assuming, I don't know. Maybe it's like he's back at the TVA and they find out there. I don't know. What do you think, April? Do you have any theories about when this occurs?
I kind of think it's gonna like be next episode.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because I mean, he jumped through the portal, and they're gonna be like, "Well, we found you," and he's like, "What'd you expect for me to do?" type of thing. And
yeah.
So I don't know. I really don't know, but I've been so excited about that scene. Like, I bought the button as soon as the trailer came out. I was like, I need that button. And so I'm making ears to like put the button on to wear them. I'm overly excited about that scene. I cannot wait for that scene.
Any scene that Tom Hiddleston's in, I can't wait. I can't wait. I really can't. And I'm still, do you know, this was a question I asked on my live last time and we still weren't 100% sure. Do you think he's going to be in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness? Because I hear conflicting things.
You hear that he's not, but we read an article where it was saying that he spent his 40th birthday in a Loki suit, which his birthday was in February. So they were either doing Loki retakes or he was doing Spider-Man or possibly Doctor Strange. We don't really know what he was filming in February. So
I don't know. I just want him to come back.
I mean, I think he will be back.
Yeah.
I think this Loki episode 1 was like the highest premiere that they've had on Disney Plus so far. So I feel like this is their sign of going, hey.
Yeah.
Bring Loki on.
Well, I said it last week and I stand by it. I feel like of WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, I feel like Loki's first episode was the strongest first episode of the three. And I mean, WandaVision kind of had an unfair advantage on that one or unfair disadvantage because it was just like kind of boring that first episode to me anyways. But I think it's going to be a good series. I just wish I feel like I just don't know where they're going to end up taking it. I feel like they're probably going to end with some kind of, like, if Doctor Strange is Multiverse of Madness, then I feel like maybe we're going to have like one of the multiverse wars or like there has to have something go wrong with the sacred timeline.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I mean, there already is. There already
yes.
is at the end of episode 2. You know, the little resets go off everywhere, and all the branches are coming along. My thing is, okay, what do you think? Do you have any theories about Lady Loki's motives for making, like, destroying the sacred timeline? Other than, I mean, I guess she's a variant, so maybe she's trying to, like, indefinitely.
And that's where, like I said before, maybe the hero song was saying, you know, maybe she is the hero in the situation. Maybe TVA is actually not what it seems, and things like that, because that happens a lot in Marvel. Not everything is what it seems, and maybe she knows that. Who knows? I really don't know. And that's where Marvel gets you. Usually you have to wait like 2 years to find stuff out, and now it's just like a week, but like it's still like a dangling carrot all the time. And Marvel stresses me out and brings me back. And
I do think we're going to learn a lot. I hope we learn a lot about her next episode. But then again, I mean, I don't know if Loki, I'm assuming if they went through the same portal, they're in the same, like, kind of area, they would end up in the same area.
Possibly, unless like she went like in one portal and then like dashed out to another just to like kind of hide. I'm not sure.
Yep. Hey, Allie.
Hey, Allie.
We were talking earlier about some stuff you would have enjoyed. I'll let you watch the replay if you. Yes. It was a little while ago. We won't drag on.
Because I'll get back on that subject again.
Get any better, so we won't drag it. But
I forgot, there was a scene in the trailer where everyone thought it was Black Widow, where they're sitting out and looking like at a galaxy. And so that could be where they like just meet and we kind of figure out a little bit of what's going on, and maybe they diverge from there. That could be next episode, or that could be last episode. Who knows?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people thought that was Black Widow, but now seeing Lady Loki, it's definitely Lady Loki.
Yeah. Another thing that I had questions about, and I feel like will make sense maybe a little more next episode, but when they're in the little super store, whatever, and they find the agent girl that got taken the first scene, and she's saying something like it's real or something like that. You know, she's like murmuring it over and over. She's like, it's real, or something like that. And I'm like, what's real?
I know she
says, it does, Allie. It does have to do with the picture.
There's several pictures.
Yes.
But she also says it's real. I don't know. Maybe she's saying the timekeepers are real, or maybe there's... It
was something that Lady Loki showed her. Maybe it's like...
But she said she showed her where the timekeepers
are. Yeah.
So I'm not... like...
Because my first thought would be maybe she showed her like what was going to happen in the, I don't know. I was going to say, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I felt at first I was like, maybe she like knows that something bad's coming and she's like trying to get this girl to tell. I don't know. Somehow she got her to tell her what the timekeepers were.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah, that was probably the most confusing stuff.
You just cracked me up.
No, I thought it was one of the dogs first, and I was like,
I did too. I thought it was either Emma or one of the dogs.
No.
Allie's popping on. Hang on. Hello,
Hi,
Allie.
Allie.
I thought it was either Emma or one of the dogs. Oh. I can hear myself.
Oh. Wait, hold on. Sorry, that might have been me. I muted it, but I guess it went back on. So
it's okay. It's okay. I almost wore ears just like that, Allie.
Oh, I was trying to find something that matched what I had on. I have like a shirt that has little red mini bows on it. So, so Kaylee, I don't know if you said hi, April. I have to be on a live stream in about 20 minutes, but
yes,
I was like, I just had to pop on here and talk Loki because I love.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, which I'll read this really quick comment from Christina, and then I'll let Allie. I know Allie has some things she wanted to get off her chest about this episode. Christina says she agrees with April. She thinks the TVA is probably not what it seems, which I agree to. Okay, Allie, go ahead.
That's actually partly of what I wanted to say. Is my thought is. Remember the scene, and I meant to look up her name, but I can't remember. But when Mobius went to the judge lady, the magistrate lady that kind of oversaw the court in the first episode, it was his superior asking, can I take Loki on this mission, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, and he asked her something like, and so how are the timekeepers, or where are they, or something like that. And she said, oh, they're around. And I was thinking, what if the timekeepers is a myth? What if there are really no fathers of time or timekeepers, and maybe she's the one that runs it, or there's somebody else that runs it? I don't know. I was just like, when I saw that scene, that really just popped into my head, the way her response was about it. So I
agree. And in this episode when he's like questioning, like, are they really looking into this? And she's like, yeah, they're so invested in it. And I was like, you're lying.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think there's something fishy there. I'm just not sure what it is yet.
And why did it not surprise me when Loki announced to his variant that his big ultimate plan is to overthrow the timekeeper? I mean, of course it is. And I was like, yay, Loki's back to his normal self.
Well, we all know, like, Loki's, like, kind of MO. He wanted to get in front of the timekeepers so he could charm his way, like, charm his way in there, charm his way up the ladder. And, like that scene in Ragnarok where he's like,
yeah.
Yeah. He's like that. And that's exactly his way. He's like, you get close to him and then you go up.
Oh man. It was a fun episode. I can't say that I didn't like the first one, but it was just different. I liked elements of it. But this one, I feel like I was telling Kaylee this week, I was like, I feel like I got to see more of Loki, like the way Loki normally is. He was like mischievous and trying to be diabolical and manipulating. The only thing I really wished I could have seen more of was his powers. Like his powers are still limited. Like the fight scene in the store where they're like grabbing vacuum hoses or whatever's in the store to try to fight. I'm like, come on, Loki. I'm sitting there going, come on. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Allie, do you have any theories about this lady Loki and what her whole, I guess, MO is for destroying this timeline?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's interesting. Like when he asked her and she said, this is bigger than you or something like that when she was about to, do whatever she did, which I still don't fully understand. Well, I do, I guess, because I saw all the different timelines, but I was like, I didn't know what the heck she was trying to do.
Yeah.
But, so is it bigger than him as in because she's the superior, or is there a bigger story and maybe corruption behind everything? That's what I'm thinking. There's something bigger there.
I think so too.
I had told April this before you were able to hop on, and the more we talk, the more I'm convinced this was a little like hint. And it was in the first scene when they play Holding Out for a Hero, when Lady Loki is like fighting them. And I'm like, maybe it's like subtext that this Lady Loki is like the hero fighting against the TVA or something. I took it as that. I thought that was a very interesting song choice. I really loved it. It was one like, I love that song. I was singing along because it's like,
I do like that song.
Yeah.
I do like that song.
Christina said she kept all the artifacts from the different missions, which is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm worried about like, okay, the way they ended it, I knew he was going to run into that portal, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I forget if I saw it on one of your shows with all the folks like April and Morgan and everybody talking about it, or if it was somewhere else. But I swear I heard that when this show came out, Loki, Tom Hiddleston, was literally only going to be in like the first couple episodes, and then the rest he wasn't going to be in it. So I'm like, please don't tell me that he's going to get like lost in the timeline and we're not going to see him until like the end of the episode of the series or something. So
I asked April that before you came on.
April,
I was stressing.
Supposedly he wasn't, but I wonder if that's just Marvel throwing us off our tracks, because supposedly there's supposed to be an old Loki and a young Loki, and I personally think that Mobius might be a Loki variant and he's the old Loki, and then we saw the young Loki in the church.
Oh my!
So I'm wondering if that's
too.
So I'm wondering if that's kind of like Marvel's play on how they're like, oh yeah, there's going to be an old one and a new or young one, but I really don't know.
That's an interesting theory about Mobius, and I like it because I did actually think the kid was Loki. I really did when they first showed him. So I was thinking, oh, that's kind of weird. But I have seen a couple other previews of scenes I haven't seen that had Tom in it. So I was like, okay, he's got to be in some more episodes, hopefully.
I think he still will be. So
good.
I don't know how y'all knew that this kid was like the young Loki, because it went over my head. I didn't know.
At first, I was like, could that be him? Like, it looked like, it was weird. Like, he had the blue on him and stuff. And it was from the gum, but still. I mean, I don't know. I was just like, is it him in disguise? So, I don't know. It was weird. So, I did think
gave me like the Frost Giant vibe too, from when he was young, like when he would turn blue and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, like, kind of rewatching, I was like, so
yeah. Interesting. But I love that theory about Mobius. I did not think that at all. So now
that'd be cool if it was. So
I'm intrigued.
That is a good theory. Who was it? You or Steve that came up with that one?
A little bit of Steve, and then like immediately I was like, yeah, that's and then we're like picking up on like the context clues of him saying like glorious purpose, and then I'm the one who said he would be the old Loki if it's anything, and he was like, yeah, that's true too. So
that explains why Mobius has taken such an interest in him too.
And he talks about, I'm sharp like that too, and like just little things here and there where why'd he have those daggers in his locker?
Yeah. That is true. That's a big one.
I don't know. My little mind is just trying to understand the stupid multiverse.
I know when they were talking and Loki was asking him a bunch of questions about like, well, what happens next? What do you do next? Or how long is this going on? And he's like, well, until the end of time, and then we're done. There's peace or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. The story's got a lot of little things going on. So lots of little things, but it's exciting. It's fun.
It is. I think it's going to be like, kind of like with WandaVision, where I feel like you like didn't know it all was going on at the beginning. You had like little theories. We already talked about Mephisto. that was a little thing that we held on to like till the last
forever. The first episode of Loki, like where he points to the devil, like me and Steve looked at each other and was like, it's Mephisto.
Oh, no, we're still holding on to it. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it's coming back.
Who knows? It'd be crazy if it did.
It took a few series, but maybe the people saw our live where we were like, it must be Mephisto. Like, oh, gotta do it now. And that rabbit's gonna come back around.
That rabbit comes back around, I'm done.
I tell you, during the scene when they went back to Pompeii, or when he was hiding there, and I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me, Loki?" Because he knows the language, which just blew me away too. But he's sitting there like, "I am King Loki, and I'm from the future," and I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me? Shut up!"
I loved it. I thought it was so funny. Maybe
I did too. But I was just like, I was like, Oh man, yeah, it was funny. It was funny. It's good. I like it. I
That
knew it would
Pompeii scene was like really, really good.
Okay, so fun little question. Mostly just because I know what my answer would be, but I'm interested if you guys had an answer. So if you could pick like any like time in the past to like send Loki back to, that would have been a funny like Loki thing. I can go ahead and tell you what I'm thinking, and that is Titanic. I could just like, like Loki is Jack Dawson.
He sinks the boat, of course.
That would be a Loki love story I would enjoy, actually.
Tell Rose to move over on that door.
No, let's be real. If Loki was on time, no, he would be like, "Girl, move."
You're in the ocean. I'm riding the door.
Yeah.
Oh God.
No, let's be real. He would have like made himself look like a woman or something to get on with those boats.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He would not have. He would like, yep. I need a fanfic about it. Like someone write a Loki Titanic fanfic. I would read it.
There's like a Norse legend with Thor and Loki where Loki turns into a woman and gets married to somebody because they've wronged Thor. So I mean, he often shifts shapes to women anyways. So that would be totally a thing Loki would do.
Remember when he was giving the explanation of what the difference between shape shifting and illusions were, or something like that?
Yeah.
He's giving this lengthy explanation of what the differences are. I didn't really hear any differences there, but that's funny. Yeah, he could shape shift. You know he can. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about a piece of history, or I don't know about your idea there, Kaylee.
It's fine. I just wanted to say the Titanic thing. We can move on.
Yeah, I was like, I thought the DB Cooper nod was great.
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
Titanic one just popped in my head, so I was like, oh, I have to say it because it's just I'm a Titanic. I love Titanic, so I was like, I just have to like that's a perfect mashup right there.
I don't know. I don't know why I'm thinking like ancient Greece. I guess because like Asgardians kind of in the same rail, like kind of style, I guess, as I don't know. I was thinking ancient Greece for some reason.
Oh, I would have liked to see him. This is just what would I have liked to see Tom Hiddleston? That would be Troy as Brad Pitt's character, Achilles.
That might be it too.
He was shirtless a lot in that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh goodness.
Okay.
That might exactly be it.
Yes. Okay. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up some. I'll go around. Allie, was there anything else that you kind of wanted to touch on about this episode or anything coming up in the future with Loki that you kind of wanted to add on?
No, I definitely touched on the couple things of the thoughts that I did have about the episode. Like I said, I am looking forward to the next one. As far as the future, I just want to see Loki there. The real original Loki, although they think he's a variant or what have you, I just want him there the same way I want the original Thor in the future Thor movies. So I love Chris Hemsworth. I love Tom Hiddleston. I just want to see them be themselves. So yeah, that would be mine.
I think that's like for me too. Like I don't know. As long as the storyline flows and makes sense and is good and like isn't like I feel like it won't be boring as long as Tom Hiddleston's on my screen. I think as long as he's on my screen, I'm gonna be like, cool. Which that whole like desk scene at the beginning and like everything, I could see him do nothing but just sit there and like stare, and I'd be like, this is good television right now. Like I'm cool with this. So
I love his voice. I love his accent. I could just listen to him talk. He can just be on the screen and talk about anything, and I'm good.
I like his face, like how he does like his expressions and like it just even without talking. Especially I noticed in like Thor 1, right? In the first Thor movie, he was very quiet in that one at the beginning, especially. But he had these little stares where I just would die because he has these funny little moments with his face where he could just perfectly like he's just he doesn't even have to talk and he could be in the character of Loki. Just with his expressions, like he's that good. So, what about you, April? Is there anything?
back to facial expressions real quick.
Yes.
The very beginning scene where he's hitting Miss Minutes with the magazine, he's doing that little mischievous smile that's like so cute. And when he's doing the salt and pepper shaker, he has the same little smile on his face, and that's like
he's all excited. He's like,
know
anything. It can go anywhere.
Those facial expressions make me so happy.
Oh, that was funny.
I know that has got to be my favorite scene in the whole episode. I loved
so
Mobius in it. I loved Loki in it. They were hilarious. And then Casey made a little cameo in it, which I like Casey. I think him and Casey are funny together. So, and I feel like that would be like a funny like little friendship, him and Casey and him and Mobius. I don't know. I mean, I just like interested to see how those progress. But yeah.
Well, I'm gonna hop off because I gotta get ready to go on another stream.
Well,
I just wanted to come on
is there
here.
anything coming on your channel that you wanted to say?
Tomorrow I am partaking in a pin tag that someone created, and I think you're in that too, Kaylee. So we will have a video come out tomorrow at 9 a.m. for a summer pin tag. So that's really the only immediate thing I've got going on.
All right. And also the pajama party, it's on Heather's channel.
That's where I'm heading right now.
Right. Yes.
Disney Housewife. We're going to be talking about books. It's book chat and all kinds of other stuff. So, yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Allie.
Sure. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye. Christina says, "What about Loki and Interview with a Vampire?" What?
Why are we going with all these Brad Pitt movies all of a sudden?
Oh, I haven't seen that. Is it a movie? I haven't seen that.
Yes,
movie.
it's a movie with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt and Kirsten Dunst.
Oh,
it's a really, really good movie.
Wait,
but
I don't know why I was just thinking him in Mission Impossible.
Oh, so like there was a lot of people like a few years ago that wanted Tom Hiddleston to be James Bond. But he came out and said, I would just want to be a villain.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, make that happen. I'd be so happy.
I feel like Tom Hiddleston is so good at playing, like, kind of the, like, witty and, like, funny villain. But, you know, like with Loki, I think what he adds so much to Loki is he has that range, that emotional range where you, like, even in this episode, you know, he acts like, oh, Asgard for like whatever. Asgard got destroyed. But, you know, right before he told Mobius that, where he just was like, whatever. Like he has these tears in his eyes about freaking Asgard. And you know he cares. And you know he's upset that all of his people got killed, you know, even if he thinks they're all stupid people. They were still his stupid people. So, you know, I thought that was great.
There was a point that like, they keep saying that all of Asgard was wiped out, but there's still people that are from Asgard that survived, and it just says they were wiped out. So did they not know that they survived, or like?
Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of, or is that how many died like on Asgard, and then like?
Well, but that file, okay, was that file in? That was in the Loki file, though, not the disaster file.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like I honestly, and I said this during my last live, I feel like there has to be some way. I could be wrong. But this is what I want. I would my perfect ending. My perfect ending would be if for some way, some shape or form, we could jump back and like this Loki, knowing everything he knows about TVA, like since he's been to TVA, this Loki could go back and like come back to his like actual self in that prison in Asgard and do it differently. That would be so cool. That would be like my perfect ending. If he could go back. It kind of be like there's a lot of movies that do that, you know, that where they have these people it's not like the best movie, but the one that's coming to my brain is like Click, where he like fast forwards through his life, you know, but then like, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Click, I mean, it's been out for ages, but like, and then he gets to kind of go back to the beginning, right? And he like knows still though everything he went through. So I feel like that would be like my perfect my perfect ending of this show would be if there was some way for Loki to go back, even if it's not to save his mother, like even if his mother still died, but I still think that would be beautiful. Like, can you imagine a scene where his mother comes in and that whole scene where she's like, am I not your mother then? And then I just do it. You know, he would
kind of like the Thor scene in Endgame where like he goes back to get the hammer and the ether. And and she's talking to him and he's just like crying. That was heartbreaking watching that one.
I would even settle for something like that. Even something where Loki cannot stay there. That's what I want. I want that for Loki. I want it for myself. And I'm with April. I would be like bawling. If I got that. I'm never right though with my theories, like ever. I'm shocked that I just wanted him to know about his future. I'm shocked that even happened because I spoke it out in the universe. And usually when that happens, like when I speak it, it's the opposite or something. Like it never happens the way I want. Watch it.
I think she's talking about Interview with the Vampire.
Oh.
It's really, really good.
Yeah, it doesn't have Natalie Portman eyes.
No, it does not. It has
Christina would have watched it. I'll have to have Christina on when we do Thor.
Yes. And they've released a couple pictures. Like I think Chris Hemsworth like shared one, and it's like Thor's back to Thor, and it had Chris Pratt in the picture too. So
okay, so it had like Chris Hemsworth is Thor. Okay.
Chris like built looking great Thor, and then like Star-Lord was hanging out with him.
Is it like a current photo though, or is it just like a
yes?
Okay.
No, so it's like a new on the set photo.
Okay. Well, see, I feel like I just don't know how they're going to do the whole Natalie Portman thing. Anyways, I don't like it, but I mean, I know you're not as against Natalie Portman as Christina. I'm not as against that. I don't think anyone's as against Natalie Portman as Christina, but
that's true.
But I'm still not thrilled with the idea.
I think it's going to be like the multiple universe divergent from the main timeline type of thing. What if Natalie Portman kept the ether? Because, I mean, obviously, as a human, I don't think you've seen Guardians yet, right? Okay.
I barely remember what happened in the Avenger movie.
Star-Lord is like from Earth, but he's in space. But he somehow can hold an Infinity Stone, which is like unnamed. Well, Natalie Portman kind of did the same thing, was able to survive even though she had ether inside of her. So I feel like that's probably like one of the things where they're going to lead it into her being Lady Thor.
Oh, Jeanne Claire is here. She says she's driving, but she is caught up this week.
Yay!
That is great.
I know that because she texted me about it.
You were on and I was yelling at you to get off because I was like, don't you dare spoil yourself for this show.
Yeah. Don't
you do it. Especially last week's episode. I mean, this episode was like a lot, but last week's episode just hit me. It hit me hard. And what? His daddy was the thing. What?
Oh, she's talking about Star-Lord, which that's it. They explain why he was able to hold the Infinity Stone so raw in his hand.
I have April on because I need a translator apparently because April knows exactly what everyone's talking about, and I'm like, huh? Which let's talk really quick before we get off of here about how I didn't know that Thanos was Josh Brolin. I literally saw something about that, and I was like, oh, what?
Yeah.
I lost my mind. I texted April in all caps, and I was like, what?
And I honestly was like, I don't know what to say because I always knew that it was Josh.
I didn't know. I feel like I always miss something, and then I find it out, and everyone's like, oh. She says she's trying to say it without spoiling it for me, which I appreciate because nothing's spoiled. Even when April said all that, I still don't. Yeah, I still don't know. It's like when
that's why I try to censor myself too.
Yeah, it's like when we used to do the WandaVision lives, and I was like, I don't know what anyone's talking about, but okay.
And then when you get to it, you're like, oh,
yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm still shocked no one spoiled the vision thing for me for like the longest time. That was a shocker. I made it to that scene and I was like, oh.
I think we just all kind of knew, and that's why we were all so confused. So that's why we didn't really say anything. And then, like, when it happened, we're like, oh, yeah, we forgot to tell you.
I forgot to tell you. No, it's okay. It should have, I mean, it probably would have been funnier if it would have happened. I did do a reaction video for it, but like, I was like, I mean, Morgan killed me on the Wolverine on live.
Oh, yeah.
I literally shed tears on that one. So, but anyways, April, what do you have coming up on your channel?
So before I jumped on here, I'm actually making Redemption Loki Disney Parks ears. So that will be out on Wednesday. But tomorrow I'm releasing our first day at Disney from our trip in April/May, like at the beginning of.
Which park did y'all go to first?
We went to Magic Kingdom first.
Oh, so you're starting with a good one.
What I did film.
Emma's first trip, right?
It is Emma's first trip. So like filming was a little bit like here and there because we were just trying to run around and do things, and she had a blast, and I want to like, even if like no one watches it, I'm just glad I can like cherish those little memories.
Girl,
honestly,
everyone's gonna be watching that. And Emma, like I swear, Emma cracks me up like on the daily. Those are things she says. She's just so precious. Like everything about Emma, I just love. And y'all are both great. And I know it's been a long time since you've gone. So I mean,
yeah,
it'd
been like 15 years. So like, there's a bunch of stuff that we were doing together that like Haunted Mansion was completely different from last time I went. I never went to Be Our Guest. We went to Be Our Guest. So I mean, there's a lot of like, we rode Mine Train together. I never did Mine Train. So there was a lot of firsts for both of us at the same time.
And what I'll say too about like editing, I know like when I went, I vlogged my trip from Thanksgiving. It was from Thanksgiving 2019 before COVID, and I was like a secret vlogger. Like my grandmother, I literally told her, I was like, yeah, I have all these videos. She's like, I didn't even know you were filming the entire time because I was so shy about it. But you know what? Those are not the best quality videos, but the memories of those videos and like me watching them back, I'm like, I just remember experiencing it. So like, I think that's the most important thing when you do a vlog, especially like a trip like that, you know, is you just, as long as you can remember it. And I'm sure there's a lot of good moments of Emma on there that like, you know, you're going to always be happy that you got.
Yeah. Like I'm just so excited about those more than anything.
So that's coming out tomorrow.
That's coming out tomorrow. And then I'll have new Loki ears on Wednesday. And then I think everything else is up in the air. It's just depending on when I edit and put it on there.
And you have a small shop now on Etsy.
I do have a small shop, and it's a little nerve-wracking. I can't believe like I actually decided to do it.
Yeah, it's gonna do good though. I think, you know, you'll get kind of used to it. I think the beginning is the scariest for that.
I think that's the scariest. It's just like getting it up there, and like I'm trying to link it down below real quick.
I know, I'm so bad. It's called Ann Lou 2.
Ann Lou 2, which is a reference to Emma. So
yes, now is that her middle name? Or do you call her Emma Lou?
I call her Emma Lou all the time. Her middle name is Louise. So
okay, so it's kind of Lou. I was trying to get it.
I call her Lou all the time too. So
let me see if I can get it for you. Well, it's saying Etsy's not one to work for me. Okay, hold. Why is this not wanting to work for me?
I did type it into the comments though. So
you got it? You got it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anyways. Okay. Well.
What do you have coming up on your channel?
I'm sorry. I had to block someone. Okay.
No, I saw it too. I don't even know what's going on.
Hang on. I'm just gonna block. blocked for 5 minutes, apparently. Sorry, you got blocked for 5 minutes. I don't know if that even tells you, but I told you now. Yes, go check out her shop. My channel, I have just random stuff coming up. I'm just all thrown off now with
that. That was something.
Okay. I've never had that happen with all these. Anyways, yeah, I have a pin tag coming out tomorrow. As John said. Oh, anyways.
We'll message you later.
After. I only got 5 minutes here. I'm sorry. Okay, I gotta quit. Yeah, so I have a pin tag coming out tomorrow that I'm about to go film. And I am going to be obviously putting out more Loki content and more Marvel content, also doing some bookish content. So just I just have fandom content overall coming up, and I'm getting a little more consistent. Jean-Claire said she saw. Yes. So anyways, with that, we're going to end this. Thank you so much, April, for coming on.
I'm so glad I got to.
That was a very fitting end for Loki.
That was probably Loki himself.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Bye.